With that being said, let's start with keto.
Keto. I think that one was like extremely popular, for sure 5 to 10 years ago. Extremely popular. I mean, everybody, hey, you're doing the keto, you doing keto. What's the story on keto? Just give us a little breakdown.
From what I've gathered, it is a very low carb. So if you guys are curious on how carbs work and how they affect your body, we have a video clip posted on the YouTube channel explaining if carbs are bad for you, they're good for you, and it's very high fat, surprisingly. Forces your body into ketosis, hence the name, burning fat for fuel. What do you think of that?
Well, the keto diet is quite interesting, and I think you're right. I think there was a misconception it was an extremely high protein type diet. Well, it's actually extremely high fat type diet. There's a ton of research on the keto diet, and I'd like to go to PubMed and actually look at the research from whether it's colleges or your Mayo clinics or whatnot, and just to see what they're saying instead of just going on the old interwebs. And a ton of pros and cons. I mean, pros on a keto diet is you actually can drop fat, and you can drop fat fast. So that's what most people are doing keto for fat loss. But there's a lot of actually positives for epilepsy management, metabolic health, because you're basically reducing your insulin levels, getting them caught up, and so forth. So type diabetes is down, helps with your brain neurologically. So there's a lot of, there's some cancer treatment that they use with a keto type diet that shows some promising effects with that. Now, it does work. I mean, it definitely does work. Now, there's definitely some negative. The one that I kind of find interesting is they're talking about cardiovascular risk. There is a higher risk for arteriosclerosis, sporadic cardiovascular activity like hardening of the arteries, and that would be if your diet's higher in saturated fat from red meats. Now, the thing that's kind of interesting that they don't break down is, so let's take a look at a red meat from your farm-raised, grass-fed,
non-GMO.
They're eating non-GMO type foods. They're not getting shot up with antibiotics and so forth. It's just a straight cow that's out there ranging free. That fat is totally different than that cow that's in a farm that they're in a pen, so to speak, and they're getting shot up with steroids and hormones and so forth to grow fast and fed anything they can eat to get them bigger and faster and to slaughter to us to eat. Those are less healthy. So what the research doesn't really explain the quality of the meat that they're eating. So that does make a difference. So anytime you have an opportunity when you're buying your meat, especially your red meat, if you can find that grass-fed, hormone-free, antibiotic-free, that meat is way healthier for you. And you don't have to worry about the negative effects within the fat. Because the fat cells is where these hormones are stored. That's where some of these negative effects come in. So that's probably the biggest scary spot, maybe, so to speak, with the keto diet is really the quality of the food that people are eating. The other thing is very obvious is nutrient deficiencies. You do need to look at that, and that's where you'd want to get some testing work done if you seriously want to do a keto diet, because you are not going to be in balance if you're not eating any grains or anything. So you will definitely have some deficiencies in minerals and vitamins. It's hard to maintain, really.
Yeah, when it comes to diets, first of all, I think the very most common thing that I have noticed is nutrient deficiencies are very common, because typically a diet is you're cutting something out.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure exactly how to really reduce that issue or risk when it comes to not having enough nutrients from something that you're trying to avoid. Like, how do you even get those nutrients?
Well, I think you're going to have to, you'll have to supplement them. You'll have to supplement them with a good quality multivitamin. There's going to be some that are more lax than the others. So that's where, you're going to want to team up with a professional that can do blood work and determine what are those big deficiencies, and then they can help supplement those with specialized supplements. So, I mean, it's obvious it works. I mean, you can drop fat weight, but you need to make sure you find somebody that can really help you out. Find a professional that is good with the keto diet that's going to really help lock you in.
Now, who would you say the target group of, like, you know, age group for keto would be? Because from what I'm gathering is you don't really want athletes on it, you know, because athletes are supposed to be eating at least a good amount of carbs. So where would you say that range is, that age group range?
Well, I think the ones that it's going to be probably work best with, there's going to be your obese client, pretty solidly overweight type client. Those ones will probably be the ones that will benefit the most from it. With that being said, that client needs to be mentally bought in that this is going to work. You can't just say, all right, this is what we're going to do. And you need to get that client to buy in. And then, boom, they'll do well on it.
Motivation's like half the battle when it comes to working out, or, I mean, anything, really.
Yep.